Man, welcome back to another episode of Halfway Up, and I call it Halfway Up because you'll never finish rising, and this is another episode that's gonna piss off a whole lot of niggas. Hopefully not, but I suspect that it will be because I'm gonna be calling some of you niggas out. And the reason why I'm calling niggas out in this episode on this beautiful day is because, when you're a good man, if you consider yourself a good man, then you are very aware of the things that you see your friends and your peers and your family members do that you know is some bullshit. You see the little things, you hear the little things. You don't say nothing because that's your man. You don't want to check them. But deep down in your heart, deep down in your moral compass, you know this shit not right. This shit is not right. And when I'm on the internet, man, and I'm looking at all the same shit that y'all looking at, it be a lot of shit that just don't sit right with me, man. And I'm going to approach this episode no different than how I approach everything else. I got 5 things that I detailed that I put in a list that I want to cover. 5 things that I be seeing out in the world that be some bullshit that don't get acknowledged enough. It be some bullshit that I don't see niggas get challenged enough. Niggas need pushback. It's hard for a man to develop and truly grow to his full potential when he doesn't have somebody who could be a safe space and a safe voice and a trustworthy voice to challenge him and let him know what it is that he's doing wrong, And listen, before I get started in any of this, let me just say I'm not an expert in anything. I'm a normal person just like you who looks and observes life on a constant, consistent daily basis. But these are my opinions, though. So without further ado, I'm about to hop right into this. Number one, stop harassing women on the street. And you know exactly what I mean when I say that. Now, I'm qualified to speak on this because I'm a man too. I understand that as men, we have been socialized the wrong way in a lot of ways. We've been socialized the wrong way in a lot of ways, man. We have been taught to think by the guys that we looked up to when we were younger, or we have been taught to think based upon the rappers that we wanted to be like, or just the guys that we thought were cool, right? We were all young once. We're men now, but once upon a time we were young boys and we were more impressionable because we didn't fully understand the world. And there was a moment where we saw the guys that we looked up to do things that we thought that's what we got to do to have success with women, or to be considered to be cool, or to be considered to be an actual real man. And I have to say that because I once was a person that was led astray too by people who were not fit to be leaders. First of all, when you're young, you looking at older guys thinking that they're like men, but they're not. They're just younger men who just so happen to be older than you. But one thing that you might observe when you're in the hood or when you're in the streets and the neighborhoods running around with your homies and your friends is men not having the courage to just walk up to a woman politely, gently, and come with confidence and just let her know that, hey, I want to get your number. How would you feel about that? We don't really get to see that a lot. And it's important to say that because when I was growing up, I seen 2 kind of guys. I seen one guy who yelled at women across the street, and I seen another guy who walked up to women with confidence. And one thing you got to understand about the difference between these 2 guys is one thing they have in common is they both get rejected. If you approach a woman with respect, you can get rejected. If you approach a woman with disrespect, you will absolutely get rejected. But the number one thing that these 2 different kind of men share in common is one guy is going to make a woman feel uncomfortable and the other guy is just going to take his L and live to try another day. This is one thing that I need all men to understand. Yelling at women from across the street, approaching women aggressively, not confidently, but aggressively, making little sounds to get women's attention, calling them out of their name before you even get their name to begin with. Or let me take it even a step further. Some of you niggas got the audacity to walk up to women that you don't know and put your hands on them. And then, even furthermore, even have more audacity to be surprised when she get mad at you. You are entitled to nothing that a woman that you do know has or a woman that you don't know has. You're entitled to none of it. And that's the first thing you got to understand about why you should stop harassing women on the street. Because the thing is, listen, fellas, listen, guys, shoot your shot. This is America. And last time I checked, you do have freedom of speech to protect you by law. You can speak to a woman. You can approach a woman, but there's a way you do it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And once you understand that it's about the how and it's not about the what, you're going to make the world a better place, not just for you, but for the women too, for all of us, for everybody. I really don't think a lot of men understand how powerful our presence is. You got to understand that when a woman is by herself and she's alone and she doesn't feel like she has her community to support her, a friend, somebody that could be there to be witness of whatever might be going on, when you approach a woman, you could come off scary, bro. Because we living in a crazy world where we're hearing all kinds of things about women getting hit, women being kidnapped, women being taken away, women being taken advantage of, women being harassed, women being just the worst kind of things, right? We hear about so many things that happen to women on a daily basis. And I understand that some good men don't know how to treat women correctly. But for the good guys, I want you to understand that when you harass women on the street, they do not know the difference between if you're a good guy or a bad guy. You know that you're a good guy, but because of your lack of knowledge and your lack of wisdom, and furthermore, your lack of experience, you put yourself in a position where you can be seen as a bad guy. And I want to let you know that when you harass women or when you consider yourself applying pressure, when it's really you're bothering me, you need to stop doing that. And for the men that might be listening to this and they say, well, what about applying pressure? What about persistence overcomes resistance? Listen, let me tell you something. Sometimes it's very confusing talking to women. Sometimes it's very confusing. Sometimes you could apply pressure to a woman and then she might try to act like she don't want your attention, right? She might be nonchalant about it when really she probably would enjoy your company. Maybe she actually is curious about who you are and wanting to give you her number, but maybe she just doesn't want to give it to you right away. Sometimes that is the case, but fellas, what you have to do, you got to understand there is no rule book for this shit necessarily. Sometimes reading body language and understanding human behavior, it's a gray zone. And this is where you got to practice and you got to become a great observer of women and their energy and their body language, because there's no way that I can tell you, women are so different. I can't give you one piece of information that fits for every single woman. Some women might tell you no when they really mean is try harder, and then you try harder and then you get the number, and the next thing you know, you get everything else that you're looking for. That might be the case for a lot of women. But for the most part though, if you're not reading body language and your intuition is not telling you that what she really wants me to do is to continue to pursue her because men love to chase and women love to be chased, then trust me, bro. If she is not returning that energy, the safest choice you can always make is just turning around and leaving her the fuck alone. That's always the safe choice. The safe choice is always leaving her alone, bro. I'm telling you. You do not want to be the kind of man where you contribute to a society where women do not feel safe. And sometimes good guys apply pressure thinking that's exactly what they're supposed to be doing and not understanding that you're furthering the agenda of women being in fear of men. And I'm not necessarily saying that it's your responsibility to make one woman feel safe about all men, but at the same time, I kind of am. At the same time, I kind of am, because how do we trust people? By having good interactions. Allow yourself to be a good interaction for a woman that doesn't know you. Maybe you try to reach out to her and talk to her today and it doesn't work out. Maybe you meet her again and then your paths cross later down the road. All I'm trying to say is when in doubt, always pick safety when it comes to women. Always pick safety. You should not be so self-centered in getting what you want that you think that that's more important than allowing that woman to walk away feeling safe. Because a lot of niggas act like they so ready to beat anybody up as soon as they disrespect them. They act like they'll do anything and everything to defend their mother and their sister and the women of their family, to defend their honor. They act like they'll do anything in the world to protect themselves. But as soon as a woman tells them no, as soon as a woman give them some attitude and diss them, now they want to act like they don't got respect and they completely forget everything that their mom taught them. Fragile masculinity. It's fragile because how are you this big, tough, strong man, but then you so weak when you don't get what you want? Ain't that what children do? Ain't that what toddlers do? Don't babies throw fits when they don't get their way? So what's the difference between a baby and you calling yourself a man? How are you a man? How are you a man when you getting angry because a woman didn't give you what you wanted? There's so many other women out here. Why are you putting all the pressure in the world on this one woman to give you that one thing that you're looking for? We're going to talk about that later. That's later down the line. I think that's like the fourth point that I'm going to speak about. But that's just something that's really critical, really important for men to understand. We have to stop harassing women. Throw your bait out there, and if she bite, cool. If she don't, hey, reel your shit back and cast it out there again so you can catch you another one, my nigga. That's many women. God has blessed us as men. There are hundreds of women in every single city available to you, man. Just keep taking your shot. You're going to win eventually, bro. Persistence really does overcome resistance, right? That is a true thing, but in the right context, though. In the right context. And make sure that you're applying that logic and you're applying that wisdom in the right context. Because once again, it's not about what you do, it's how you do it. And we got to make sure the how is always keeping women in safe. Always with the context of keeping women safe and making sure that they feel okay amongst us. Because the mistake that you make about making a woman not feel safe is is the burden that another one of your brothers has to inherit now because she doesn't trust men. Because as another man tries to approach her and get her attention, she might be hardened and traumatized by that one guy who followed her home after she told him no 17 times. She might be traumatized by the guy who kept asking her what her name was and she didn't answer. So then he grabbed her hand and stopped her from walking, thinking that applying pressure and then being aggressive with her would make her more attracted to him. Women go through so much that niggas will never know. Us as men, we like live in this like Truman Show bubble, right? Where we don't get approached as many times as women get approached. So we don't see it the same way, right? We don't understand that in this month, in 30 days, this woman has been bothered and bothered and bothered. She was bothered at church. She was bothered at school. She was bothered at her workplace. She was bothered taking the trash out, coming out of her apartment. She was bothered getting her kids out of the car so she could take them upstairs. You know, women go through so much, bro, and they hardened. And we can create a better society for all of us if we just ease up on that pressure and redirect how we apply it. Let's just redirect how we apply it, because you still got to be a man. You still got to apply that pressure for sure. Apply the pressure, because women are attracted to masculinity just like we're attracted to femininity. Women like a man who's strong and who's sure about himself and who stand on his shit and put his dick on the table. But what I'm saying is you just got to do it in the right context. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, the second point that I want to make is, niggas, please stop overgeneralizing. Stop acting like what one woman did, all women do too. Because we hate when women do that to us. We hate when women have one bad experience with the man and then she goes on to say all niggas ain't shit. All niggas are liars. All men cheat. No man can be faithful. All these niggas be broke. Everybody's a bum. We hate when women do that to us. So why the fuck do that same thing that we hate being done to us do to them? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I need you guys to think. I need you to use your mind and just really consider the fact that, like, you'll never, I think there's a saying that you'll catch bees with more honey than you will vinegar, or some shit like that. You trying to get women to see you as an attractive potential partner, or see you as a guy that they could possibly want to sleep with or want to flirt with or want to spend intimate time with. You want to know how you not gonna make that happen? By overgeneralizing and treating every woman like they are the same. Because as you know, nothing is monolithic. Nothing. Literally nothing. All black people not the same. All white people not the same. All athletes not the same. All musicians, all artists not the same. All teachers not the same. All doctors are not the same. Nobody is all the same, bro. And anytime we are going to overgeneralize and put people in only one category as if we're not all multidimensional human beings, you're fighting a losing battle. You're fighting a battle uphill. You hurting yourself. There is absolutely no progress in overgeneralizing all women because of what one or two women in your life might have done. So you dated this girl. She cheated on you, right? And now you hurt, and now you mad, and now you want a mission to prove how all women bitches. You want a mission to prove how all women ain't shit, how all women don't mean what they say, how all women deserve less, right? Like, this is not, like, let's just be for real. Like, what kind of woman wants to do all the freaky shit in the world that she will do with the nigga who makes her feel comfortable and safe? You think that she's going to offer you her body and show you all the tricks and shit that she capable of while you overgeneralizing all women? Nah, brother, because you're not a safe space. And one thing men got to understand about helping women to feel safe is that it's not just physically, it's emotionally as well. And when you overgeneralize women, or when women can identify that you are the type of man that is hurt, cast your pain on all women that you haven't even met yet, you are not communicating to a woman that you are a safe space. And therefore you ain't gonna be doing nothing with a woman. You will get nothing from a woman because you have already proved to her that you are not a safe space because of your anger, because of your bitterness, and because of your resentment, because of your inability to let go of what Keisha and Tanya did to you. Now you want to treat Caitlyn and Rebecca the same way when they not the same girls. They are not the same girls, and you need to find a way. First of all, you need to go to therapy, or you need to talk to your mother or talk to somebody. You need to get that shit off, because that shit that's sitting inside of you is preventing you from getting closer to women. And that, at the end of the day, all angry niggas on the internet, all you really want, you just want to cuddle up with a nice, soft, beautiful woman that you can feel warm laying with at night. That's all you really want, my nigga. I know it's what you really want, my nigga. I know you don't know how to communicate with that because you're bad with your speaking. You don't have a good conversation, which is probably why you don't know how to talk a girl out her drawers in the first place, right? But I want to tell you that the quickest way for you to get what it is that you're looking for, my brother, is to drop the resentment. Drop the bitterness. That shit that happened to you, find a way to process your feelings and get through that, bro, because on the other side of that, you might actually get what you're looking for. But the irony is you continue to overgeneralize women, and it's pushing you further and further and further away from you getting into that bed with that woman and cuddling with her. It's pushing you further from talking on the phone for hours. It is preventing you further from getting what it is that from that physical and emotional intimacy that you really crave and desire from a woman. The irony is that what you're craving, you're in a deficit, and it comes off like, it comes off like, like this bitch ass nigga that nobody really wants to be around. But if you find a way to heal yourself first, then you can get one step closer to attracting and manifesting that feminine energy that you want. Because right now, you're not a safe space. If you ask me, the biggest problem with the world is overgeneralizing. Overgeneralizing every group of people, every race, every religious group, every institution. We overgeneralize when we should treat it by a case-by-case situation and allow space for us to determine whether somebody is guilty of something or not. We got to stop overgeneralizing Christians. We got to stop overgeneralizing Muslims. We have to stop overgeneralizing men. We have to stop overgeneralizing women. We have to stop overgeneralizing everything and anybody. We got to stop. Overgeneralizing is the number one way to see this world never discover peace. Now, me personally, I think that total world peace is probably not realistic. In some capacity, there will always be some type of misunderstanding, some type of disconnection in the world somewhere, But at the same time, we're not going to get any closer to healing this world and healing the people that walk it if we continue to act like what we know about one person applies to every other person that looks just like them or that represents the same thing. That's some sucker loser ass shit that we just got to stop doing. Come to the winning side. Come to the healed nigga side. Healed people don't overgeneralize. Healed people don't treat a group of women like they're all the same because of what the very, very limited women that I've experienced in my life have done to me. That's not what healed men do. Healed men gonna get all the money, healed men gonna get all the girls, and healed men gonna have the best life. You got two kind of men in this life. Both of them gonna be born and both of them gonna die. But one of them gonna have the greater life and the other one is not. The guy who overgeneralizes women, the guy who treats women like they are the same, the guy who treats women like they are bitches and they are worthless and they deserve less, that nigga's gonna die an unhappy life. He gonna have lived his whole life with opportunities to be better and do something positive and constructive with his life. But instead, he's going to die and he's going to not be remembered by anybody and he's going to leave zero impact on this world. And then you got the other guy, the guy that kind of reminds me of myself. He doesn't overgeneralize women. He doesn't hold the resentment and the bitterness of what happened to him however long ago. And he finds a way to love people He leads with his love. He exudes the energy of love. He exudes the energy of I'm a safe space. I'm a provider. I'm somebody that is willing to protect. That guy's going to win. That guy's going to make a change in the world. That guy is going to be remembered when he's long gone. Which guy do you want to be? Now, number 3 is easily going to be one of the more important ones because this is the one that almost most men can relate to. But number 3, we got to stop supporting men that we know abuse and disrespect women. A lot of us men were introduced into one way of seeing the world. And then if you're lucky and if you're blessed and you're fortunate, you mature and you grow. You get around some good women, you get around some good men, and they set an example for you to learn from. And then you start to understand that the way I was introduced into how to treat women initially was the wrong way. And then hopefully you grow and you mature and you become a better member to society, right? Like no man is bigger than the program, right? It's not about you, it's about us. But once you do your part, it helps lead into the domino effect of the energy that flows into us getting towards closer to love. That's the best case scenario. But the worst case scenario is there are these friends and these family members and these guys that maybe we went to school with them or maybe they work with us. So maybe you go and get drinks with them. Maybe you play your pickup games with them. Maybe you gamble with them. Maybe you shoot dice with these niggas. Maybe you play video games with these niggas. Maybe you smoke weed with these niggas every now and then. It's these guys that we know of that have these women in their lives and they put their hands on them or they constantly lie to them or they constantly run mental gymnastics on them, right? They constantly manipulate them They're constantly doing things to see her not rise to her full potential. Because when we say that, when we ask what our definition of a great man is, right? Usually two things that follow with that is he protects and he provides. But one thing that I need you to understand about protecting and providing is that those things are not just monetary. Those things are not just about putting money on the table and putting food in people's stomachs. Protecting and providing is also about energy. And it's also about where you are with your spiritual connection to God and the universe and to love, right? Your spiritual connection to love. And and as a man, you are not providing and you are not protecting if you do not help a woman reach her full capabilities. If you are not helping the woman in your life, whether that be your sister, whether that be your mother, whether that be the woman that you're intimate with, if you are not doing something in some part to help her get closer to reaching her highest capability, then you are not protecting, you are not providing for that woman. If you were doing anything to constantly put a lid on her when you should be helping her sprout and helping her grow, then you are the enemy to that woman. You are the enemy to a woman that you are not helping see her full potential. So if you constantly minimizing her light, telling her that she's not beautiful, telling her that she's not smart, telling her that she'll never make it, telling her that nobody believes in her. We all know a guy who does these things. And sometimes the real scary truth is that could be a guy that you've been spending almost every day with for the last 3 years and you don't even understand how this nigga really treat his girl. There are men that we know, men that are in our 6 degrees of separation, and we see these niggas all the time. And when we see these niggas, we dap them up and we smoke weed with them and we talk life and we talk music with them and we do all that shit. And we don't even know that behind closed doors, this nigga be bullying his girl, verbally abusing her, putting his hands on her, doing inappropriate things, constantly cheating on her. Like, we know niggas who be cheating on women who will give this nigga the world. Women that'll do absolutely anything and everything for a man, and yet he still finds a way to rationalize his mistreatment of her. And if you know a guy like that, the first thing you can do to truly, the number one thing you could do to support not only that woman, but all women at large is by disconnecting yourself from that man. You know how women got this saying right now where they say, decenter men? Us as good men, we have to decenter fuck niggas. Because I can't take the risk of good women thinking that me and you is the same way. I can't take the risk of women thinking that me and you got something in common. We ain't got shit in common, my nigga. If you were actively going out of your way to oppress women, then I can't roll with you, my nigga. And I got to take that stance because you got to take a stance in something, right? What does it even mean? What does it even mean to be a man, right? You got to stand on shit. Sometimes you got to draw the line in the sand and gonna be like, hey, dog, I'm on this side. You on that. While you on that side, I'm on this side. We can never play for the same team. Nigga, take that jersey off. Gotta snatch that shit like T.I. did Lauren London. You gotta snatch that shit sometimes. Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes you don't know everything there is to know about a guy. Because why would you, right? You don't go home with that man. You don't eat where he eats and you don't sleep where he sleeps, right? But at some point, God will reveal to you what's done in the dark will always come to the light. And when that moment happens to you, maybe the first time you want to be like, you know what, that's not my business. I could even understand that because it's not your business to a degree, right? Maybe you don't want to get ahead of yourself and you don't want to overreact to a situation that you don't got all the details, all the information to. I understand that. And in a lot of ways, that's smart. In a lot of ways, that's the wise thing to do. But at some point, if God continuously communicates to you and continues to speak to your intuition and confirms to you that the guy that you think is your friend, the guy that you like to spend time with, is actively doing bad things to stop a woman from being who she's supposed to be, you got to break away from that nigga. You got to break away from any man who is actively oppressing a woman and stopping her from enjoying her life to the full capability, because he's not a man. He's the enemy. And it's only a matter of time before that man, his unwillingness to do the right thing, it bleeds over into your life. It's only a matter of time, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. This is a saying that all of us have heard before. You have to get away from these type of men. You have to get away. It has to be black and white. If you know a man, he putting his hands on a woman, you have to get away from him. If you know a man who's constantly taking finances from a woman but never pours back into her, you have to get away from him. If you know a man who always makes sure he's good before he makes sure his woman is good, you have to get away from him. You have to get away from men that do not help women flourish because he's the enemy. And you might think because you and him have a good laugh and y'all got this history, maybe y'all grew up in the sandbox together, you might think that that guy is different because he don't act like that with you. But I promise you that it's only a matter of time. Any person that has lived long enough, who has enough wisdom, will confirm this for you. I'm 31, so maybe you might think that I haven't lived long enough and I don't know all there is to know about this subject, but go ask somebody who's 45 then. And you know what? The real problem is that some of the niggas that you should be getting advice from is the niggas that do this as well. Some of the niggas that you should be able to go to, right? Because you should be able to go to your uncles. You should be able to go to your father. You should be able to go to your much older brother. You should be able to go to these men because that's supposed to be your counsel, right? Nobody comes into this earth knowing everything they need to know about everything. You need counsel. You need somebody you can go to be like, hey, big bro, like I'm kind of going through this situation. What do you think? That's the reason why I'm doing this podcast episode, because I want to be counsel to men that might not be hearing this type of information somewhere else in their life. But the problem is that sometimes the men that are supposed to be giving you counsel are actually poisoning your mind. Sometimes these men are contributing to the things that I'm telling you to stay away from. And when you find yourself in that position, it can be rough to strip yourself away from that guy because maybe you feel like that guy is all that you have. And to be honest, that is something that I can't necessarily tell you what to do. But what I can tell you is that take it one day at a time and keep asking God to order your footsteps and tell you what to do. Keep asking God to order your footsteps and tell you where to go, because sometimes the men that we have in our life, the men that we trust, the men that we love, sometimes we grow up and we find out that who was once our heroes, you find out that they might be the motherfucking villains. You find out that they were actually the fucking villains the whole time. And no man who oppresses women could ever be a good man. You know, like contextually, maybe you can compartmentalize he's done some good things. Yeah, for sure. But all in all, though, like women help the world go round, my nigga. They give birth to the babies. Women, they obviously do so much more than that as well. But if a man is not watering a woman, if he's denying her of being watered, you know, anything that he's doing to oppress her, that's not a good guy. And if you know a guy like that, it's best for you to get away from him, because you don't want somebody. It's kind of like a nigga who in the streets, right? And he out there showing his ass and pretty much asking to get killed. Imagine you hanging around that nigga at the wrong time. When a nigga finally see him, spot him, got him in broad daylight, and he like, you know what, this is my chance to off this nigga. And you right next to him. You don't want to be a casualty of war. You don't even want to be the type of nigga that accepts a bullet that was never meant for you anyway. That bullet had another nigga name on it. That's the same thing. Like, energetically, morally, you don't want to be the type of man that is associated with a fuck nigga, right? It's not cool to know Diddy right now. You get what I'm saying? It's not cool to know the type of man who does vile and fucked up things. You don't want to be associated with that type of shit. Take my word for this, man. Take my word for this. Just trust me. Number 4, when you're trying to holler at a girl, stop taking your lack of success with women on the other woman because she don't want to be with you. If you've been shooting your shot at women, you've been in the DM, you see women at the mall, you see women when you out and about, you pumping the gas, or you just somewhere in the neighborhood, whatever it is, you see a bad chick, she's beautiful, she got what you like, and you muster up the courage to go talk to her. You know what? I understand that sometimes it's hard to even muster up the courage to go speak to a woman out of rejection, out of fear of not being adequate, out of fear of not being enough. I understand that. But what you need to understand is that what happens to you is not her problem. It is not that woman's fault that the majority of women that you try to shoot your shot at turn you down. It is not your fault that the majority of women that you are attracted to are not attracted to you. It is not her fault that a majority of women that you try to rizz up and get the game to don't pick up what you putting down, my nigga. That's not her fault. What you got to understand is that life is all about taking what you can get, my nigga. I have shot my shot to many of women. I've been turned down by many women. But then I've also been accepted and appreciated by a lot of women too. You got to take what you can get in this shit, man. But the number one way you can start by doing this is stop taking this shit personal. Stop taking rejection from women personal. No man is every woman's type. Think about the most pussy getting ass nigga that you can think of. No matter who that nigga is. I don't give a fuck if this nigga 6'11", got green eyes, he 300 pounds in pure muscle, whatever the case is. Somebody don't want that nigga. Somebody don't want one of the more desired niggas. Every woman don't want Chris Brown. Every woman don't want Drake. Every woman is not attracted to Idris Elba. Every woman is not attracted to everything. No man gets everything. No man gets everything. So when you really think about it, you have more in common with most men than you think, but you live to fight the battle another day. That's the only thing that you ever need to be focused on. Because listen, the number one thing that will increase your chances of getting any woman that you want is energy. What is energy? Energy is something that makes a woman feel safe. It's something that makes a woman look at you and really see you. Not for the exterior, right? Not for your skin complexion or what your clothes look like, but the person that's inside, the spirit, the thing that God put inside of this vessel that we call a body. Energy. Energy is the number one way to get a woman to pay attention to you. Energy is the number one way to have a woman feel attracted to you. That's the number one way. And it doesn't guarantee, first of all, just because you have great energy doesn't mean that she has the vision, right? The third eye to see it. But where you fail as a man is that you judge that woman because she can't see how great you think you are. Hey, newsflash, bro. What you think makes you great doesn't necessarily mean you're a good fit for another woman. It doesn't necessarily mean that. And the quicker you get to understanding that, the quicker you can get to stop getting bitter and stop having resentment to all women now, because you got curve. Hey, my nigga, listen, getting curve is part of the game, bro. That's how you get your reps up. When you playing basketball with your homies and shit, every shot you shoot don't go in. You quit the game, but you don't quit the game. You don't just throw the ball and be like, fuck this shit, I'm out of here, dog. Game not finished yet. It's still baskets to be made, my nigga. You don't just throw the ball and decide you're going to quit the game in front of all your teammates because you're not having your way with this shit. That's not how that shit work, my nigga. You got to keep shooting your shot until you develop your rhythm, until you develop a formula, until you figure out a way to approach women in a way that works best for you. Stop taking your lack of success with other women on every girl that you meet. We got to stop that shit, bro. That shit is not sexy. It's not attractive. It's not going to get you them draws. It's not going to get you anything. It's not going to get you anything at all. Listen, a lot of us need to heal. A lot of men need to regroup. We need to revisit those moments in our mind where we felt traumatized or where we felt betrayed or where we felt like somebody made us feel stupid, right? Because you tried to holler at this girl or this girl cheated on you or she did whatever it is that she did to you to bruise your ego. What I don't ever want to make it seem like is that what you're going through is not worthy of acknowledgement, because it is. It is worthy of acknowledgement. But furthermore, more importantly, what I want you to understand is that no man is bigger than the program, and the program is world peace. The program is being a good member of your society so you can contribute to everybody being happy in some kind of way. And maybe you do not love yourself or believe in yourself or acknowledge your presence enough to think that what you do plays a larger part to the rest of your city, but it does. Because all the city is a bunch of flowing energy. It's a bunch of dominoes just getting pushed down and running into the next one and running into the next one. And when that domino runs into the next domino piece, you want to make sure that the impact of that is positive and not negative, because that's all you can do. There's so many things in life that we cannot control, but the number one thing that we can control is making sure that at the end of the day, we can go to sleep knowing that we're a good person. You got to stop taking your lack of success with women on all women because you are carrying that energy and you don't feel attractive. That energy is not sexy. That energy is not going to make a woman want to take them panties off from around them ankles and let you have your way with her. It's not going to make her want to do that with you, bro. Don't be attracted to the lower vibrational things and throwing a fit and getting mad, and now you on the internet calling all women bitches. Like, that's lame nigga shit. You know what the number one way you could tell a nigga is a loser? By the way that he expresses his emotions. By the way he expresses his emotions. The number one way you can determine whether a nigga is a loser or a winner is by the way that he expresses his emotions. And it's a lot of loser ass niggas out here. All you doing when you yelling and you screaming online and you calling women bitches and you overgeneralizing all women that you haven't even met yet, all you letting us know is that you's a lame ass nigga and that you need therapy and that you're hurt and that you're in pain. Why would a woman want to sleep with a nigga who's in pain? This doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The fifth thing that niggas gotta stop doing, the fifth thing that I want to see men stop doing and get better at is please stop talking and lead with your actions, bro. And let me be the first to tell you if you ain't heard it from nobody else. Talking to women is not the best way to get them to understand you. It's showing them. It's showing them what you're about. It's about leading with your actions. It's about demonstration. Demonstration is the best way to get a woman to understand what you got going on and to get her to get on your program. Because you can talk all day, but the funny thing about talking and showing is that showing proves everything that the talking will. That's why they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture, right? What you can see visually. It's the imagery. You can see. I don't got to tell you nothing. You can see what's going on with me. I can show you that I'm a good man better than I could tell you. Why tell you that I'm a good man when I could just show you I'm a good man by providing, by protecting, by supporting, by making you feel safe? Because bad men conversate just as well as the good guys do. Fuck niggas know how to run their mouth and know how to use their words to get what they want from women just like the good guys do. But you know one thing a fuck nigga can't do? You know one thing a bad guy cannot do that a good guy can? Lead by his demonstration. Prove and lead by his actions. Stop intellectualizing hate under the guise of advice and making it seem like you actually give a fuck about these women. You don't give a fuck about these women, bro. You feel better and stronger now because a good majority of your life wouldn't nobody listen to you because you couldn't broadcast your voice on the internet. You felt small before. You felt insignificant before. And now you feel better. And now this is your way of getting back at women by yelling and screaming at them and telling them about everything that they got going wrong. I get it. You feel better about yourself. You felt like they wasn't paying attention to you before. You feel like they were slighting you. You feel like they wasn't giving you the respect that you deserve. And now you got this platform, and now you feel like you can articulate your way into getting what you want from these women. But women respond and listen to the energy, my nigga. At least good women. At least healthy, grown, and mature women do. I can't speak for the immature little girls who refuse to become women. I can't speak for them. But real women, it's not about what you say. It's about what you do, my nigga. So stop intellectualizing your hate and trying to make it seem like it's love when it's really hate, when it's really bitterness from the past. These are the things that I want to see men stop doing. I want to see men get to a place where we become better for women, because once we create a safer space for women, women will be better for us. And once we're better for them and then they're better for us, then we have a better world, bro. We can stop with all this gender world. We can stop with some of this gender war shit. And you know what? Some of that shit is mad entertaining, bro. I'm not even trying to make it seem like I don't be watching some of that shit on the internet, because I do. I totally do, bro. But at the end of the day, if men want to create a world where women feel more comfortable being submissive to them, then you have to make her feel comfortable and safe to submit to you. And I want to help men understand that, like, a lot of the time it's the blind leading the blind, and we're running in circles and never exiting out the highway because we're not demonstrating. We're telling them what we want, but we're not showing them that we're worthy to receive that. And sometimes putting food on the table is not enough. Sometimes leading with your wallet is not enough to make a woman feel all the way comfortable with you. Sometimes it's just not enough. These are 5 things that I want niggas to focus on, man. These are 5 things because, you know, we got to do better. And if we want women to follow us or feel comfortable enough to walk hand in hand with us, then we have to demonstrate and prove to them our worth, just like we need women to prove their worth to us. Men have to prove their worth to women just like women have to prove their worth to men. We are the table. We got to stop with this one-sided shit. Any person out there that's trying to convince you that one person's respect is more important than another person's respect, they're leading you astray. They're lying to you. This is snake oil. It's rubbish. It's bullshit. Stop listening to them niggas. A table got 4 legs, my 2 and yours, and together we can hold some shit up and build a foundation for the generations to come. That's what this shit is all about, my nigga. And if that's not what you're doing this shit for, then you're doing this shit for the wrong reason, and you're lying to the people and you're leading them astray. And with that being said, man, these are the 5 things that I want to see niggas stop doing. These are 5 things that I want to see men stop doing. And if men will stop doing these things, you will get closer to what it is that you actually want. That's all I got to say. That's all for me. Anyway, once again, this is Wolf Taylor. This is the Halfway Up Podcast. If you like this, please, man, find me on Apple Podcasts, find me on Spotify Podcasts. Leave me a rating, man. Leave me a review. I need all the help I can get to get into these algorithms, man. Send me a DM. If there's anything you agree with, is anything you don't agree with, please let me know. We can have a conversation about it. I got a lot more episodes that are coming out soon. I'm going to be traveling a lot more. I'm going to be trying to reach out to guests that are in different states and in different zip codes, different regions. And life is good, man. Life is good. Right now, I'm just focused on being consistent, trying to dominate the rest of this year. The year's almost over, man. I mean, like not really, but kind of a little bit. And with the rest of the time that I got left, I want to make sure that when 2025 gets here, that I'm more than prepared and I'm more than ready. You know, I just want to be ready for all the blessings that are coming. The blessings are coming to all of us, but you're not guaranteed to capitalize on them if you didn't do the work before. If you didn't do the work on the runway before, then you're not going to take flight when it's time for you, when the runway stops. You know, you're not going to take flight and be in the air where you should be. You don't have to graduate. Just because you're in school and you're doing homework and you're taking your test doesn't mean that you're going to make it to the next grade level. You have to apply yourself and you have to do what needs to be done. And with that being said, I'm sure you guys have noticed, or if you haven't noticed by now, this is the first sample to the merch that I'm going to be selling to y'all one day. You know, right now I'm just branding myself and I just want to be seen. You know, I just want people to get a feel for the shirt. I want people to get a feel for the swag and get a feel for, you know, how I'm coming. But this is the official merch. And I'm probably going to be selling these in the beginning of 2025 or sometime closer to that. I'm probably going to drop a limited run. Probably not going to do too many of these. Probably do like 50 shirts. Maybe sell them for $50, $45 or something like that. And, you know, once I sell them, once they're gone, bro. I'm not going to sell them again. And, you know, that's just a way to kind of encourage people to, you know, make an investment. You know, if you like the shirt, if you listen to the podcast, buy the shirt, man. It's a good shirt. The quality is great. Shout out to my man, Mike Press. He set this up for me. The quality is great. It's not going to shrink on you. It's not going to get fucked up and dirty. A lot of y'all buying Stussy t-shirts and 3 months later, that shit, it's all bacon neck around the collar. And it's not even something you feel good about wearing no more. But with these shirts, you're going to feel good about wearing these, man. I've been wearing this like for at least the last 2 weeks. I haven't taken this shit off and I'm not going to take it off. I'm not wearing nobody else shit. You're going to see me in every picture. You're going to see me in every episode wearing this shit, man. I got 5 more colors coming soon. I'm going to be wearing those. And when y'all checking this shit out, I want you to let me know, like, what color do you like the most? Because those are the ones that I'm going to put on the website. I don't even have a website yet, but eventually I'm going to make one and I'm going to do a photo shoot and I'm going to do all the things, man. And I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about everything that's coming to me. I'm feeling blessed. I hope you guys are feeling blessed. We got so much to do. We got so much great work to happen. And, you know, with that being said, man, I'm out of here. If you listen this far, I want to thank you and I appreciate you and I am grateful and I'm honored for your time because your time is valuable and you could be doing so many other very important things. But if you're here somehow, some way, I just want to let you know that I do love you and that I do appreciate you. And that's it, man. I'm going to get out of here. But before I do, you already know the spirit of the brand, the mantra, the outro, the religion. Whenever I'm working, I will remember that done is better than perfect. And if I'm satisfied with my work, then that means that I'm living in my purpose. That is the spirit of this brand. This is the t-shirt of this brand. This is Halfway Up. I am Wolf Taylor. I am out of here.